So, do you have a judgment on other people as good or bad? Does that make sense?
No, because
and is it able to change?
I don't have a judgment, but I have a feeling. So I can meet someone's energy and be like, I'm not feeling comfortable. So I can be around, like, and I don't even have to speak. I can be near them, be like, oh, they got good energy. Or I can be, oh. So that automatically makes me go, okay, what's going on? But I just try and understand it rather than judge it and be like, okay, cool. I can feel someone's got a negative energy, but I'm thinking, well, maybe something's going on. How can I show up to be, to make them feel relaxed or whatever it is? But I don't judge it as good or bad because that would be unfair on them. If that makes sense.
Yeah. So do you class it as good energy or bad energy?
Yeah,
energy
negative or positive. So like I class it as, what do I normally say? Yeah, negative energy or like I could say their energy was off, kind of thing. You said it before. Like we say, off.
Yeah.
Or their energy is like it's in like energizing.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just a feeling I get. I don't really judge with my mind. It's more like
energy.
what I get.
Energy.
Do you get what I'm saying?
I'm very, very much the same. That's why I don't have any judgment anyway. No judgment at all. What would you guys say?
'Cause we know some people that can come across straight away as pricks. They'll say something and you're like, huh? But they're just breaking the ice to them. They're breaking the ice to make you think, what the? That was wild. But they're just making you know they're wild. But then when you know them, you're like,
wild or uncomfortable.
They might be uncomfortable.
Trust
but
me,
it's
I wouldn't even say might, because there are things that you don't have to do. You get what I mean? Like if you feel like you have to go out of your way and say something to break the ice, it's like because I can go in a room and just be, well, obviously I can just be quiet.
Yeah.
And that can make people.
Nothing's really wrong with me.
No.
I'm just quiet because I feel to be quiet. You know what I mean?
And not everyone's good with that.
Yeah,
they're like,
a lot of people can't sit in silence.
what do you know? What are you thinking?
Are you judging me?
Yeah.
Go on, T.
Yeah,
Sorry.
for me, no, I'm pretty much the same with you. I'm like, for me, it's that feeling, that vibe, the aura, whatever like that. And like you said, if I feel someone around me and I'm not feeling their spirit, I'm just like, yeah. Like off the top of my head, you were even asking this question. I remember I was doing my youth work, and there's not many young people I can say like I don't really like or I'm not keen on, but there was one, and I was like, yeah, there's something about this child. And I felt bad in saying it, but I said, no, there's something that the vibe I get from this person every single time I see them, my spirit doesn't take to them. And kind of later on started unveiling certain things about their character and things about them. And I was like, oh, it's making a bit of sense now. But it was literally, that wasn't even off of them saying or doing it. It was literally just everything about them just stood out. But again, even when I found out what they did, I wasn't like, oh, that person is bad. To me, there had to be an underlying backstory. But it was just, it's just either a spirit takes you or don't.
I hear that. I definitely hear that.
That's it.
I hear that.
I think ultimately it is a judgment.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah, it's still
See,
a judgment. Of
I
character,
don't
isn't it?
think that judging a person is necessarily a wrong thing. I think that
Natural.
I think that if I step in a room and there's a vibe, I'm gonna assess what that vibe is personally.
I would say
But,
observe. So you observe.
I'm gonna come to a decision on what the vibe is, and I'm gonna, depending on what it is, I'm gonna take myself away or stay.
But that's still, it is kind of like a judgment in the sense of you're judging the best choice, or you're making a decision, but it's based on your observation. So it's still a form of judgment. It's just, I think we've got it stuck in our heads that judgment has to be like condemning people, like because you think judge, you think even if you think about courtrooms and that, it's always a finalized decision based on something, and it's either good or bad, like we said.
Which is why I don't necessarily believe in the saying only God can
Can
judge
judge.
me.
Yeah, well, it's not,
Because
you get judged by people all the time.
it's
You get judged by everyone
to
and
make
everything.
a judgment is somewhat all that you have,
But
and
then-
for the most part, it protects you.
In that,
Exactly.
They're not.
we
They're
are
not.
God,
They're not.
essentially.
Go on.
We all have God in us, so maybe we all are allowed to judge.
Yo, I was about to go there, but I thought, let me
But I
not.
don't
Let me
think.
not do
I
it.
don't think that they were saying only God can judge me, meaning that nobody else can judge me. I think they're saying only God can judge me.
As in
that-
made
that's
a
the only
final
one
judgment.
That
No,
matters.
it's the true
Matters, yeah.
intention.
That's the only one that matters.
Hence why they say.
I don't think so, you know.
But
I don't
But
think
that's
so.
that's a topic
I
for
don't
another
think that's
day.
for the. No, I'm picking that now. I don't actually think that like, and that's the thing.
Who said it? Tupac, innit?
No.
Well, he had
That's
his
not
tattoo,
like he's like.
but
Let's
it's been,
put him to
been
the
there
side. He knew some stuff in it, so he, for the most part, was probably coming from a place where logic overruled it, right? But in regards to people, we say things and we don't actually know the meanings of
Yeah,
these
sure.
things, right? As you said, like to me, that's logic, but that's based on what I know. As in, if we've all got God within us, we can judge. Which is pretty tricky which is pretty tricky in a sense because everybody judges.
Firstly, how do we all have God in us if people don't believe He's real? And if you don't believe in God, how can everyone have God in them?
That's based on perspective.
So do you believe in God?
Yeah. And I believe I've got God in me.
And do you believe in God?
Because God made us in His image.
I would use the proof of the universe and life itself. That's what I class as God. That's what I class as God.
So that's
proof of life.
Okay, so that's okay. So you class the universe, Mother Nature, all that
Right,
stuff
right.
as a godly
That's
entity.
what I would class.
Cool. You see it as a biblical way. Am I right or wrong?
No,
More
not
Christian kind
I
of.
can't explain
person.
it because I've had an experience, as I've said before, about outside of me, which is quite spiritual, but I can't explain what that entity is.
But okay, so
But
how do you see it? Do you see it as a person? Because you know that in Christianity they see it as
so
a
I
person.
see it as like this, like we are a direct reflection of the earth.
So you see it how I see it.
Pretty similar, yeah, because our bodies replicate what the earth is.
Right. So
right.
that's why you would say there is a bit of God in everyone.
Yeah.
Okay, that
and,
makes sense.
and also a lot of the books, when you look at the different sayings in a lot of the books, they resemble each other. And
What,
if
as
we-
in the
if-
religious books?
Yeah, a lot of the religious books. Like, it's not to say I don't believe in a lot. Like, I believe probably Jesus was here, but I can't prove that. So if we look at logic, and I'm like, if we look at what I can't fathom half of the things that we're speaking about. I can only fathom what I know. So in my body, if I'm looking at my body, I can see the earth around me. I'm looking at how I connect. When I feel healed the most, it's when I'm in nature. So I'm like, well, there's something about the natural process or natural creation that I'm aligned to in some way.
And you're calling that God.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense.
I can't explain it, but I can say that I have had a spiritual encounter which felt like angels, but it wasn't anything. It was just light, if that makes sense.
You did actually explain it. I just think that, so where I think that Fashi's question is important is the fact that, okay, what is your idea of God? Because most people
We tie it to religion.
tie it to
I wouldn't
religion.
see it that far away from me. It's
Right.
more within us because we all have an essence of God within us. It's
And-
just whether we
and
choose.
if you
On your
remove
definition
God,
of God.
and
Yeah.
if you
That makes
remove
sense.
God, if you remove it and you
Yeah.
just say like we called God life, Mother Nature,
Yeah.
right? If we called it that, it would make a lot more sense.
It would.
Hmm.
But then to go back to the
Original question.
quote,
Only
And
God.
God can judge.
Yeah.
which is only
God
God can judge
yeah.
me, do you think the general population are seeing God through your lenses?
No.
Or they're
No,
seeing
no,
God
no,
through religious
no.
lenses?
They're seeing it as submitting to something.
So like
So
a more
that-
right,
religious
right.
view.
A higher
Yeah.
power.
Right.
As a being.
Higher
Yeah.
being,
Right.
yeah.
But
Okay.
it's weird because a lot of the things that they have in terms of commandments and all these things, but they don't even follow them.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
what's
I
the
know.
point?
I know.
Unless they
But then
actually
Isn't that how you had the association of the image of him sitting at the pearly gates, sitting on the throne? It's that only God can judge, because then it was who was allowed into heaven, and but again, it's that judgment of who is allowed in and the condemnation of who's not.
And that's for me, because I've had to relearn things, because I've seen the power structures and what they've been doing. So how they've used religion, how they use. So I'm like, if they have set up this thing not to help you understand your power, then of course they don't want you to know you've got the power of God inside you, or whatever it is.
No,
Because that removes you away from you understanding your true essence. And that isn't relearning. I couldn't answer that properly because I don't.
No, I think
fully
you
know
answered
it.
it perfectly, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I